Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I'm here to take a look at Ultra Pro's Lite board game sleeves sized for tarot sized gaming cards. Those are cards that are 70 by 120 millimeters and these sleeves are clear. You can purchase one pack of these sleeves for $2.99 MSRP, and for that you get 100 sleeves, which means that each sleeve comes in around 3 cents per sleeve, making these the most affordable sleeves you can purchase for tarot sized cards, which is an impressive feat. Let's go ahead and check these out. As you can see, the sleeves are smooth and glossy on both sides. Now we're going to count the sleeves to make sure there are 100 here. That's exactly 100 sleeves, so you get everything that you pay for. Now we're going to check the thickness of these sleeves. 100 sleeves comes in at 1 centimeter, which means that each sleeve is 100 microns thick, or 50 microns each face. Now to measure the dimensions. These sleeves are 72 millimeters wide by 122 millimeters tall. That makes these the smallest of the sleeves overall. Now we'll see how a card fits. I have a card from Century Spice Road. These cards are slightly taller than the average tarot card at 71 by 120 millimeters. So we'll note ahead of time that this might be a little bit bigger than this sleeve if the sleeve has a really tight fit. There we go. It is a pretty good fit. There is just a tiny bit of play on around the edges and then only the tiniest sliver of space between the opening of the sleeve and the top edge of the card. It's not completely flush though, there is just a tiny bit of protection there. So those of you who want a sleeve that looks pretty tight all the way around will find that this is going to be aesthetically pleasing to you. And for those of you who are sleeving more standard sized tarot cards, then you will find that there's going to be a millimeter more space here at the top, and so it'll have a more even looking distribution of sleeve around the sides. Now it's time for the sleeving test. I have 45 cards from Century Spice Road here, and I'm going to see how long it takes to sleeve them with these sleeves. Ready, set, go! Alright, it took 1 minute and 51 seconds to sleeve these 45 cards, and that is a super speedy speed of 2.47 seconds per card sleeved. I found that the entire sleeving process was pretty much without any issues. The sleeves opened very quickly and accepted the cards very readily. There was absolutely no resistance in sliding the cards into the sleeves, and so I would say that this is a fantastic sleeving experience. Now that I have sleeved these cards up, we're going to test their uniformity and consistency and quality fresh out of the pack. These sleeves are very uniform on the sides. I don't detect any significant differences on the sides, and very uniform on the top. So these are pretty good in terms of their overall quality right out of the package. And as I was sleeving these cards, I also noted that there were no issues with dents, dings, or any other cosmetic damage to the sleeves as I was looking at them and putting the cards into them. So I find that this may be the highest quality of the soft sleeves out there, which is pretty impressive considering that it is also the lowest costing of all the sleeves for cards of this size. As mentioned before, there is not a lot of space between the top edge of the card and the opening of the sleeve for these particular Century Spice Road cards. Now there is just a little bit of protection there, so you don't actually touch the top edge of the card, but I think for these particular cards, you may want to assess that as you consider these sleeves for your cards. Alright, now it is time for the shuffle test. I'm going to shuffle this sleeved deck 100 times and see how long it takes. Ready, set, go! Alright, it took 2 minutes and 9 seconds to shuffle this deck 100 times. And that is a blazing fast speed of 1.29 seconds per shuffle, making these the fastest shuffling of the sleeves of this size. And that's including that I dropped a bunch of these sleeves at one point. Although it's not a perfect shuffle in that there is a little bit of resistance as you put the sleeves into each other. And so you'll find that you do need to press a little bit in order to get it in. And you might need to hold your mass shuffle a little bit wider in order for the sleeves to fall in, as opposed to being able to press them in very cleanly. Other than that, I found that the sleeving and handling was actually quite good. And part of that is because the sleeves are a pretty tight fit all around. And so you don't have a lot of that sponginess that you get with some of the soft sleeves that are a little bit wider, because that causes it to be harder to grip because there's a bounce and a sponge to how you hold the edges of the sleeved cards. And so I found that these are probably the most enjoyable handling of the soft sleeves that I have tested. But they actually shuffle even faster than any of the more rigid sleeves as well. And so I found the handling to be very good overall. Now that I have handled these sleeves a bit, we'll go ahead and check on their wear. Okay, a couple quick observations is that during the sleeving process, I did bend some of these sleeves a little bit harshly, and that actually shows up in a couple of these sleeves in the form of minor dents on them. It's a minor aesthetic damage, and I think that's something that's unavoidable with soft sleeves because they are quite fragile due to their thinness, and so that is something that can happen here. In terms of wear, I actually found that the sleeves held up quite well. The one thing that I did notice, and that's only under glare, is that the surfaces of these sleeves are pretty good at accepting fingerprint smudges. And so I did notice that you can see under the right glare conditions my fingerprints on these sleeves, where other sleeves don't have as much of an issue with fingerprint smudges. But other than that, I felt like the sleeves are actually in pretty good condition, and these might actually be the best quality of the soft sleeves that I have seen so far. And so that is a very heartening sign for Ultra Pro's new line of board game soft sleeves. Let's see how well these sleeves hold up in a riffle shuffle. Not very well at all. Because of the soft sleeves edges being a little bit spongy, they can't take a lot of pressure before they slip out of your fingers, and so it's kind of hard to get enough bend in the cards in order to riffle shuffle them correctly. And so I think this is going to be much more of a mass shuffle style sleeve, which is true of the other soft sleeves as well. Now it's time for the shake test. I have these sleeve cards stacked into a deck here, and I'm going to shake the table they're on for a couple seconds to see if the deck holds up. Ready, set, go. Didn't even budge. So I feel like it's safe to say that this is a pass, and you don't have to worry about your sleeved tarot deck becoming unstable. Now I'm going to do the draw test. I'm going to draw 3 cards off the top and see how well the deck holds up. Ready, set, go. No problems. I think that there is just a tiny bit of stickiness to the sleeves, and so you do have to try to pick up one of the cards specifically, because it's not always easy to get a grasp, but it doesn't take that long or that much effort to do so. And as you can see, it comes off the top really easily and cleanly without shifting or causing the deck to fall apart. And so I feel like that is an easy pass for the draw test as well. So I have to say that I am actually quite impressed with Ultra Pro's new soft sleeves. These are not only the highest quality of the soft sleeves that I've tested in terms of durability, consistency, and their aesthetics, but they are also the cheapest of the soft sleeves that I've tested, coming in at the least expensive of all of the sleeves for tarot-sized cards. And so I think this is easy to recommend for those of you who are interested in a soft sleeve specifically, or interested in sleeving your tarot-sized cards cheaply. Even your Century Spice Road cards will be okay in these sleeves, even though those of you who are uncomfortable with that only a tiny amount of space between the top edge of the card and the opening of the sleeve may want to look at a slightly taller option. These sleeves work quite well because they fit pretty cleanly around the whole card. And so I think that this is an easy recommendation for anybody who's looking for the least expensive sleeves, or those who are looking specifically for soft sleeves. And that is going to be it for these Ultra Pro sleeves. Let me know what your experience with Ultra Pro's Lite board game sleeves are in the comments below. If you have any experience with these sleeves or other tarot size card sleeves, I also have links to surveys in the description box below that you can fill out, and that information will make its way to the Init Games' resource page where you can compare across all of the different sleeves that I have tested or may test in the future. If this video was helpful for you, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of these videos, you can hit subscribe. This is Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.